be consistent with what they knew was what the White House wanted, which was to say that Iran was hell-bent on nuclear weapons.
Yeah, here's a quote. On 5 occasions, he was ordered to either falsify his reporting on WMD in the Near East or not to file his reports at all. Hey, boss, guess what? I got a great new source, and I got this great bunch of new intelligence. Turns out they abandoned their nuclear weapons program that barely ever even existed a hell of a long time ago.
Right.
And then here's a 22-year veteran employee of the CIA. They push him right out the door.
Well, once this case is actually settled, and it will almost certainly be settled out of court. I spoke with Phil Giraldi about this yesterday, and he said, the typical way in which this is handled is that the agency settles out of court, and in this case, that seems very, very, very likely. And once that happens, this agent presumably will be in a position to, unless they have a gag order, which hopefully it will not be part of it, but he would certainly be in a position to shed some very interesting light on the whole background of the CIA's handling of the Iran nuclear file specifically.
Yeah. Well, I guess for now, the battles against the Mahdi army have subsided as he's ordered his guys to melt back into the population. And so there's a lack of propaganda about Iran being behind the landmines, killing our guys in Iraq. I guess we can expect that propaganda to get heated back up again sometime this summer, probably.
Well, I'm sure this propaganda line has not died. It's only asleep for the moment. And I have to say that, one of the pieces that I've been thinking about and just haven't been able to find the time to write yet is one that focuses on how the nature of the whole game in Iraq has fundamentally changed in 2008. And it's a combination of the influence of Iran within the Shiite government in Baghdad, on one hand, and the convergence of interest, really, between the pro-Iranian Shiite faction in Baghdad and the Sadrists in basically easing the United States out the door from Iraq through political diplomatic means rather than by using force.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you provided great insight on was when the Maliki government ordered the raid on the Sadrists in Basra, and you came on this show and reported to us that what really happened here was that Cheney and them had a plan to wage full-scale war against the Mahdi army, and that what Maliki was doing was short-circuiting that plan by basically starting the war early and botching it. And I read an article yesterday in the local paper, actually, talking about, I think it was an LA Times story, talking about how the Americans are now following the Iraqi army around with Predator drones, watching their every move and everything, because I guess, that redirecting toward one group or another somewhere, they've now decided that Maliki and the Badr Corps, Iraqi army there, are no longer trustworthy allies in Iraq.
Well, there's no doubt that there have been some fundamental shifts in I would say seismic shifts in the orientation of the al-Maliki government, and that implies, as you suggest, also some shifts within the Iraqi military as well. Certainly the Shiite element of command in that army, which are quite substantial. And I think that there's no doubt now that the Bush administration is becoming quite worried about its whole strategy in Iraq, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said some pretty eloquent things before about how Americans need to, even ignore, at the expense of even ignoring Congress for the moment, they need to focus on the American media. And, it just drives me up the wall when I see an article that says, basically just repeating verbatim, more or less out of the false accusations in the congressional resolution, that the CIA says that they will have enough highly enriched uranium to make a bomb out of it maybe this year and things like this. To the American people, do we need to find a way to go down and meet with these reporters and teach them about, the difference between 3.6% U-235 and 90+% and show them the IAEA reports and basically take them on as our students here? Or what do we have to do to get it through these people's heads?
To describe exactly what needs to happen, Scott. I think that there needs to be, the kind of peer pressure or, popular pressure, a combination of the two things in regard to the media. We need to stop being buddy-buddy and chummy with people who are essentially screwing us over by their behavior, by the lack of responsible behavior within the media. And, it starts, of course, with the stars of the television news world who earn gazillions of dollars, who are basically, in a position to steer the public opinion in one direction or another, and who, invariably just follow the political line of those who are in power. And then it goes directly down to the reporters who are in the field in Iraq and in Washington, even more so, the people who are covering the Pentagon and the State Department, who have long since abandoned the ethic of journalism, which certainly would have been, I would have thought, the thing that attracted people to the field, which is the opportunity and indeed the necessity to pursue the truth and to speak truth to power. This simply is absent from the field of journalism in today's America, and it's part of this overall crisis in the institutions that we need to have healthy to keep the United States from continuing down the path of empire, which is a path that is going to bankrupt and continue to destroy the fabric of this society.
Dr. Gareth Porter from Interpress Service. You can find all he writes for them at antiwar.com/Porter. Thank you very much for your time today, sir.
It's always great to be on your show. Thanks, Scott.
America, your head's too big, because America, your belly's too big, and I love you, I just wish you'd stay where